It's Michael Andre Ford, San Antonio, Texas, your American angel intuitive, with a quick bunch of items. One is I've been getting asked, and these are great questions, about how to take maybe a first step for letting go, maybe getting to experience angels. That's hearing, feeling, seeing, and so on. So I'll get to that in just a bit. I actually wrote what ended up being 3 to 4 word pages. I edited the language, so I may actually read off of some of that. I thought it was pretty good. And a couple of housekeeping notes. One, there's a brand new show, podcast, Angels, Positivity, and Love. I may have like 8 to 10 guests already being onboarded. There's like 30 to 40 people I want to invite. But I've got to keep this as one show per week. So tapings are being arranged, onboarding, and the rest. This should be a very fun show, strictly on YouTube. So there's no structure in terms of time limit. It should come out the same time each week, but even that, might be a day or two one way or the other. The back end I'm not worried about. The guests are going to be fantastic, amazing. Most of them are show hosts already, or established authors, established this, established that. They've met angels with me. And the first part of the show is so you get to know them, get to know who they are, what they're about. Are they a TikTok star? Are they an author, a show host, all the above? Are they a healer? How do they help others? How do they roll? What are the things that have happened to them in a positive, sort of upbeat way, so that we can all, the audience, take away, get some of their wisdom, get their advice, get their insights, get some exercises, mantras, you name it, so we can get inspired. The second part of the show is all about the universe, big picture. Those eternal questions that mankind have tried to tackle for thousands upon thousands of years, except that we're going to do it in a compassionate, fun, very lighthearted way, and bring in angels, the universe, and so on. So beyond just smelling sage smoke, some of these guests may decide to let it roll, and we may do some actual, we'll call it angel sessions or angel services on air, and you may even get some direct listening on your behalf, the audience, where the person says, oh, I'm hearing this, and it's a message for all of us. So we'll see where this goes. It should be a very high vibe. I'm going to suggest for those who are watching the podcast, I'm going to try to get a website address to you right off the bat, a book, a show you should check out. Whatever the expert, the audience, the guest person wants you to know about to put them on the map. We tend to multitask anyhow. So you're going to get something at the front end to take a look at to put them on the map. It could be their website again, a book to take a look at on Amazon, so you can peruse. But I think you should go back and then redo the show again. By the time you get to the angel part, make sure you go back to the words. There's a vibe that should be going through the show that's beyond the words that are being discussed. And do the show a second time so you can pick up that vibe and maybe participate in terms of experiencing angels again in the second half of the show. So maybe you'll smell that sage smoke through 2 screens. Maybe you'll catch the scent of flowers around you, an ocean, Maui, Hawaiian beach. Who knows? If there are no limits in life, maybe there are really no limits. A second quick housekeeping item is there should be an event on February 11th. That's a Saturday. Danette Lindemann, she's in my Rolodex. She organized my last event last spring in 2022. She's wonderful in California. We'll get her email address out there. There should be like a $25 to $35 event. It'll be a talk on angels. It's hard for me to hold back. There's no reason why there won't be some experiential stuff to do. Again, smelling sage, flowers, maybe put your hand out, feel an angel, maybe see an angel, get an answer to a question directly. Who knows? But this is primarily a talk with periodic Q&A. So you, the audience member, can participate. If you've purchased the Listening to Angels book, we're going to see if we can tee that up as a way to get you priority for a question. Who knows? We'll work those details out. I still have to suggest that to Danette. Anyhow, keep your eyes posted for that February 11th Saturday event. Just be a good chat on angels. You'll be able to interact and so on. She'll be the moderator, I believe, and we'll go from there. Now, people have asked me, well, how do I get started? And you're in the game of life already, and you've been starting this whole time since you were a kid, and you just haven't given yourself credit for it. When we brush our teeth, fall asleep at night, ride a bike, read a book, smell a flower, pet a dog, do yoga, sing, dance, laugh. There's a million ways to get to your heart, and that's all this is. And that's actually the charm of all of humanity's sort of experiences with life. It's the little things. And unfortunately, it usually takes a near-death experience, car crash, divorce, job loss, health crisis, or on your last dying breath, you figure all this stuff out. Now, life is built in such a way that the universe, your cheerleading squad, your higher self, angels, Mother Teresa, Mary, Jesus, Muhammad, fairies, and so on, unconditional love figures, Native American chiefs, figures from India are in the background for you, trying to help you, but there's no interference. What would be the point of telling you how it is when the entire construct of life here is that you get to figure out everything? You get to figure out how you're spending your energy. Are you spending it from up here thinking, which is usually fear, worry, stress, thinking, reacting, judging, and knowing to the preclusion of real possibility? That's 92% of all of our knowing. There's very little that you know that stays the same a week later, a month later, a year later, 10 years later. Look at science. A big discovery is usually blown out by another big discovery 2 weeks, 2 years, 2 decades later. Nothing quite stays the same. Constant is change. But the bigger constant, let's get to the heart, is love. Love's the fabric of the universe. I'll stick my neck out on that one. I got it from angels. There's nothing, if anything I've said is smart or anything you're taking issue with, odds are angels said it. I just, after 10, 11 years plus of doing this, a couple thousand folks, helping them get from here to here to have a direct experience with the universe. They get to see angels first as a little bit of light. They can see angels move in photographs and stuff like that. They can see angels full on standing there with or without wings. There's just a few things that I've eventually picked up. I'm a little thick. I'm a little slow. In fact, everybody that actually helped the whole way always puts me to shame. They're so much faster. So if you've got a human heart, you're open and you're ready to open openness. That's your own heart. Go to this distance from point A to point B. You're already far ahead of the game. If you're even paying attention to this, congratulations, pat yourself on the back. It is far simpler than anybody realizes, could believe. You know, all those institutes, all those experts, this crowd, that crowd, this religion crowd, that philosophy crowd, this group, that group, you know, Seth group. You can just meet Seth and start chatting with him, a light being. So light beings are part of this. A lot of unconditional love figures. It stretches what all of us permit in our current society. So, a word on seeing angels. I'm going to have 4 little sheets, but I mean, I kind of know this by heart, so I'll do the best I can not to read. Obviously, this is a big deal and not a big deal, and of course, it's a very big deal. We're suggesting seeing angels. The more you relax about this whole concept, the more they sneak in. But by that, I mean, set your intent right now. So, however you roll, a Boy Scout, Girl Scout pledge, this works. Angels, get me out of my head into my heart, surprise me. I'd love to see an angel streak a light. An angel is a full-on human being out and about in town. Somebody with sparkly eyes holds the door open for you and says the key words that you were just thinking yesterday, this morning, or that you heard in the movie 2 days ago, that you just do this and you're shocked and you're still thinking about the interaction, the experience, running into this random stranger with sparkly eyes a week later, 3 weeks later. There are no limits in life, and if there are no limits in life, maybe there are really no limits. The only person that can get in the way of all this love, happiness, shininess, unicorns, rainbows, and no limits is you with your thinking. You know what you know. No one's going to tell you otherwise. It's why in a service, a session, when I help someone, no matter how much I pick up on them, and let's say they're really stuck, they've said something that's just drastic in terms of what they won't allow for. Maybe life itself. I try not to say much ever. I'd rather have them get the experience of riding the bike. Pretend you're a dad. The way dads run from, the extreme dad gets on the bike and rides it for 2 hours in front of the sun never touches the bike. The fun dad who teaches, hey, you've got the ability already, just get on the bike, pedal, and I'll show you how, I'll support you, I'll hold you, training wheels and all, I'll make sure you feel good about it, step by step, let go, you're riding the bike by yourself. The good teacher here, instructor, in my opinion, gets you on the bike and you learn firsthand pretty quickly. And you gain confidence that way. And then if all moments can be the same, whether we're talking about listening to angels, feeling angels, seeing angels, letting go is letting go. If you've done it for sports, singing, lacrosse, yoga, cooking, hugging a dog, driving a car, driving across country, why can't you do it for just basic listening, feeling, seeing? You're doing that stuff all day long. So don't attach any big importance to this. So back to the type notes here. Obviously, it's all a big deal, no big deal, and of course, it's a very big deal. People can see angels full on, standing there before you, across the street, in your yard, in your living room, if it's a big enough living room. Right up and close, good luck with that. you'd have to be the skydiver. The chute didn't open and you bounced and you lived without a scratch. That's about the only person who's so courageous that they're like, yeah, no, I'm ready to do angels. After an accident like that, you survived, not a scratch, you bounced skydiving. That's about the only way. Your thinking is completely parked for about, 3 days straight. You're just like, oh my God, I'm so happy to be alive, fresh air. You're probably bruised a little and in pain. But the point is, that's about the most open you're ever going to be. And that would be a lot of the near-death experiences when folks come back. Okay, so you can see across the street in a yard, do this solo, but if your cousin's done it with you, both of you can see at the same time. There are photos of angels as well. I'm getting to that. Go to my website now if you want to double task and start looking at angel photos. So you get to see them happy, smiling, winking, waving, chatting with you. This isn't a one-dimensional, you're just seeing a frozen angel there. And without wings, I usually do first, and then they can unfold their wings. If it's Audrey Hepburn, when she unfolds her wings, there's a lot of sparkle, pizzazz. She doesn't hold back, and it takes your breath away. Okay, you can also see other loving guides. Again, Native American chiefs, figures from India, fairies, a jinn, light beings. Just think unconditional love figures, saints. Go to my website. There's a long list. It's about 170 figures, and I'm not counting people's guardian angels and other angels who are on their teams. So look, you think. You do what you do. You've got a certain bubble called your reality, what you'll allow for, what you won't. If we just do sports, you watch college football, you won't watch NFL, or flip that around. Quickly, if we compared all 7 billion or 8 billion people, we'd find out that a lot of our thinking, a lot of our value system stuff is just totally arbitrary. And it's all good. You should think and feel and judge the way you judge. Just for the person who wants to experience more love and life and everything else, it's not about the judging. It's about the living. And I'm going to quote Dull Knife right now, one of the Native American chiefs everybody meets. Life's a feast, partake. I've always loved that statement. So angels know how to just show up the right way for you so you don't totally freak out. And that could be the simplest thing as Penelope, a little white ball of light the size of a big pen right here, and then a little wiggle to say, hi, it's Penelope, and then this. So if you're really talented, you're going to hear her voice at the same time that you're seeing her. And if you're smart, you're going to ask for a hug and feel a hug, a whoosh. The really smart people get 3 or 4 hugs. I can do this. And let some of the hugs become healing. Colorblind people have seen color and so on. So you can see and meet angels as actual full-on humans. I'm not talking just like looking across the street and they're in human form, like Obi-Wan Kenobi fizzily in Star Wars, the 1977 one. After he's struck down by Darth Vader, he comes back a little bit fizzily. Now, you can see full-on that way across the street, but I'm talking human. If you reached out and pinched them, they'd probably say, ouch, and pinch you back. That's a lot to take in, but I'm going to put that out there for the really bold listeners right now. Just start asking for angels to do their thing. Nighttime university classes, popping up and saying, hello, it's the hummingbird at your window that stayed for 2 full minutes. 2 full-on, an angel, stranger with sparkly eyes, man or woman, older or younger, heavy-set, skinny, who knows, opens the door, says something, maybe you're not meant to speak, but you get energy vibed, you feel better, and for 3 weeks you're on cloud 9. Ask. They know what to do. They know what to do for you, and trust that they know your situation. There's no privacy. You're not getting judged. If you want to feel like there's privacy, ask for that extra space. But meanwhile, ask for them to come in and help you out. That's the most critical thing. Again, there's no desire for interference or to tell you how things are. That's just not the way this is. Details are details. That's usually on the thinking, ego, it's more ego side. And this also applies to a lot of the institutes, seminars, classes, and tons of people out there. It's their entire job as an expert in the whole woo-woo-woo, intuitive, holistic wellness landscape to tell you stuff. Buy their books and everything else. Like buy Dan Millman's books because I always plug him. Never met him. Look forward to maybe meeting him one day. We'll see. But I love his movie Peaceful Warrior, blah, blah, blah. At least check out that book and the movie with Nick Nolte, Amy Smart. So you can see angels out and about and you're on your path in life. For the really bold folks, don't just ask to see them. Ask that they take you for a cup of coffee and have a chat. Now that's pushing it. I've got one person who's walked with angels and guides full on, like of their own volition. They asked for it. They walked with angels. I mean, that's the right stuff. That movie from the 70s or 80s, those test pilots for NASA or whoever that was, Neil Armstrong, whoever. That's a lot. Okay. Ask for all of this. And again, Ask for your vibe to be raised. Ask to let go of what doesn't serve you anymore. Remember, we're all spending our energy in a certain way that we're wasting energy. And there's the quote on my website, Joe Shu quote, what happens if I try to be Buddha? And the Zen master says, what a tremendous waste of energy. And then the student trying to rattle the Zen master and show that he's come of age here, asks the Zen master, well, what happens if I don't waste any more energy? And then the Zen master says, you're Buddha. So think of it this way. Most of what goes down in your heart, the stress, the fear, the worry, it's totally unnecessary. Good luck with getting rid of it, but if you just do a little less, up here, 7% less, I'm quoting angels, each week, each day, get a calculator out and figure out that that's an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours, 15 minutes. I did the calculator once. I can't remember what it is. So it's just a little more. Go for a walk, hug a tree, hug your dog, read a book, put your feet up, breathe, have a cup of tea. You can still do good business. Just don't take things so seriously. Don't take yourself so seriously. Practice love more in the moment. You have to be able to conquer self-love. And there's no conquering, let go. You already have it inside you. Let it percolate out. It's Scrooge at the end of the story when he wakes up that morning. It was only a 2-minute dream, by the way. And he realizes it's still Christmas morning, tosses the coin to the kid, go get the goose. But he's celebrating that he's still here. That's what we're talking about. You never lost that at all. You thought it was when you were 10-year-old was the heyday. Or you thought you lost it in college when you were the sports star. Or when you were 30 was the heyday of everything. You never lost a single stride, a cycle in your whole RPM thing in the engine. You're still a Ferrari engine for love here. You have to trust that. And you have to trust that there could be something beyond human thinking that's highly, I don't like the word intelligent, but highly loving, highly wanting just to help you expand, improve your energy flows so you're happier. The true pinnacle of success in life, more love. Every moment you love does not go unnoticed, unmarked. I don't have the right words for that. But positivity itself is abundance. And I'll be bringing that up all the time on a show that's entitled Angels, Positivity, and Love. So you get the idea on this whole allowing to see angels. The easiest way to see angels, though, let's get to the basics, is in light energy form. It's just a slogan, a lingo bit, 3 words that I slap onto. All the little bit of light. Now, there's a whole group out there that loves to say orbs. That's just the circular stuff, whatever. Usually when I hear orbs, people are talking and it's already been shrunk down in size and importance. We're talking all shapes, sizes, colors, triangles. Those are the archangels, the 4 triangle archangels. That's Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, and those the 4 triangle shots. There's 3 more off camera. Show you how slow I am. That's Zadkiel, Shamuel, and Jophiel, but it took me years to learn the names. I'm the slowest learner there is. There's a silhouette orange photo on the front page of my website. Find the Geronimo, Sai Baba, Audrey Hepburn photos. You'll see a silhouette orange of my guardian angel. She's also the double overlapping white balls of light, and she's also the white metallic ball of light on the cover of my Listening to Angels book with the face in there. She's next to Charlotte, the blue ball of light. There's no one way for even an angel to show up. Same thing with your hugs. How about that? Easier to relate to. You get a hug, there's no one way. You can get a million different hugs from the same angel, but if you really liked one of the hugs, it was yummy in the tummy or a whoosh down the back or it just felt good, get 5 in a row. We're so linear up here that even as we're getting a hug from an angel, we don't realize we could ask for more hugs or 1 hug that equals 5 hugs. There's just, how up the curve are you willing to go for letting go, having a lot more fun and laughing, smiling, being happy for no reason at all in this exact moment. You're raising your vibe, you're increasing your presence, your ball light that's you expands out, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this whole thing is beyond human grasping and thinking, but this still happens anyhow for the bold. And they don't even have to be bold. Those who are willing to allow, ask, and receive. You only have to get out of here, get to here, know how to set your intent, and let angels do the rest, let them do their jobs. Okay, again, there's tons of photos at the website in light energy form. Again, the silhouette, my guardian angel, and so on. What I would say is there's no one way that an angel has to show up. This is just more about being in the now, being in the present moment, letting go of thinking, getting out of structure, getting out of a reduced flow of life and getting into your heart. Again, my website's got photos. You can hit the shopping photo page, and I think they're $3 each. Wix doesn't let you set different prices or anything. So for the cost of $3, less than a cup of coffee, stick a photo on your iPhone, carry it around for a while, I suggest Joy, the pink ball of light. She is the communicator, ambassador. She helps hold the space for you. Great, what do I call it, jumping off point. Great starter angel. I keep saying a pool. Great swim instructor, or pool instructor, or lifeguard, however you want to view this. Pink ball light, but she can show up in any color. When you first see her in light energy form, it's usually like little flecks of light, silver, like fish breaking the surface of the water. She's the one that did the flyby over my head, and if this is the first time you're hearing about it, hit my YouTube site, any of my social media, look up the December 30th video. In the minute 19 video, it's at the 36-second mark. I just did a little short one for those who don't want to hear the talk, but the talk's actually more important. The talk is like this. It's about, you already have it all right here. All the words, all the questions, all the structure, all that it's got to be this way isn't going to get you to your heart. So you want a quick exercise that doesn't have to do with angels, but it does. Just pretend you're on a mountaintop, stretch your arms out, let go. If you have to do a chubby checker or wiggle or Elvis Presley, do your shoulders. Clench, this is thinking, open. Who cares? You can see an angel in my hand right now. Freeze frame. See some pink light, put your hand out through two screens, see pink light in your hand. Okay, so back to what I was just about to get to. It says, what about seeing angels as colorful light around you right now? Look up, find the corner of your ceiling, the wall, ask for an angel to show up. You'll see a little flicker, a flash, 1 million ways to go, a streak, purple, green, yellow, pink if it's joy. Yeah, just allow, get out of your own way, who cares? It's beautiful light, again, any color or shape. Again, the ball of light can go slow and do a little wiggle and say hello. That'll be Penelope. There's also a million ways thinking itself can get in the way. Welcome to being human. Welcome to any endeavor you've tried to start, whether it be exercise, diet, starting a new business. You're in the middle of a certain job and you think it's going down this way. That's the opportunity before us in every moment, is how are we going to flow our energy? The more positive, the more allowing you are, the more open you are, the more the universe can get in and bring you outcomes, flows of energy that flow more in alignment. I'm going to start to sound like an LOA person, law of attraction person, Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks, all that stuff, Wayne Dyer. But that's really how it does roll. Think of it in terms of sports, going for 18 holes on a golf course. The more you're out of your own way and just swinging those clubs, enjoying the day, smiling and breathing, odds are the better the stroke, the better the score, the better the fun with it, the closer to a hole-in-one you're doing. So the key to this all is maybe setting your intent, but let's just dumb it down. Just let the details go. Don't worry about, let's say, which angels you're going to meet, or Native American chiefs, not Native American chiefs. Don't get hung up in the structure. I once had a European who got fixated on a big business figure that's passed over, and really wanted to meet that business figure. Now, that business figure, to my knowledge, wasn't part of the crew. It's 170 plus figures, could be part of the crew. I wasn't really going to be gung-ho to try to bring that figure in. Just going to do what I was doing, which is angels, Native American chiefs, some figures from India, Mother Teresa, Chogyam Trungpa, and so on. And so that figure of a scientific background, we'll put it that way, got into the session and said, wow, what a dumb request I had for the weeks beforehand. The person worried a lot about doing the service, how it worked, could they let go, blah, blah, blah. But they also said, wow, what a dumb request. I'm meeting just one angel could do everything you need. Healing, getting answers for anything, any level of detail, all languages, all dialects, it's private to you, hugs, seeing, you name it. I mean, that's enough to have a short circuit up here and a miracle. Let alone you're going to meet a bunch of angels, Native American chiefs, and so on. But so he's like, or she is like, hey, I don't really need to meet that business figure. What a dumb request. I'm meeting angels. It's perfect. And then later that business figure came in, which was a shocker to me. I'm always shocked by pretty much every person. 1 out of 100 will be not the best behavior. I'm still shocked by that. But I'm learning from each situation. It seems to never stop. It's like watching the movie Peaceful Warrior. Every time I watch that, something new jumps out. So I must be really slow up top, or easily astounded when I'm in my heart. So let's do that. So thinking itself is the least efficient way to be flowing your energy. When you're thinking, let's go contrarian to that and try to take issue with it. When you're being super creative and you're thinking all sorts of great creative thoughts, guess what? Your thinking's down here. You're aligned with all, and your thinking's really your heart flow. I'm going to shoot the tires from underneath that vehicle. Most of the time, your thinking's judging, fear, worry, stress, doubt, resisting what is, resisting others, judging your neighbor, judging that person, your coworker, the person you just saw on the political news. I love Don Miguel Ruiz's Four Agreements book, and I love one of the tenets, I think. Someone said this: everyone's doing the best they can, and so the best they know how. So as soon as you say that, it takes a lot of, it's like one of those Instapots. It lets the steam out of that pot. You didn't like somebody, but when you phrase it that way, no one's running around saying, I'm going to waste all my energy to be the biggest jerk and totally piss as many people off. Very few people do that. They're, in their perspective, they're doing the best they can. The more you can have a compassionate approach to that, the more you can get away from the quicksand, the Vietnam, the stuff that's going to suck up your energy and be a waste of time, the more you can stay focused, clarity on your path, a heart-centered, compassionate, loving, kind, gentle, self-love path, you can still be a great business person. You can still get everything done. Action without the stuff up here, without thinking. Action from the heart. So the key to this all, once you've kind of bought into the whole let's be in the heart, oh pointy bird, look at the cloud, I'm in the moment, I'm feeling better, I'm feeling lighter. Then it's setting your intent and making actual requests and getting out of your own way to let angels hear you, which they're hearing you all the time. They hear your thoughts. Your thought, I think it's Marilyn Youngbird, I'm forgetting, in Colorado. She's been around a long time. Every prayer, every thought is a prayer. Yeah. Every thought is a request. We'll just paraphrase it. She has a beautiful quote. I think I put it in one of my social media posts lately. She's fun. Okay, so angels aren't here to interfere in your life unless you signed up for stuff ahead of time. Angels are just here to help. Let them do their job. Trust that angels exist. The rest will come in. And how about this? I love to sum it up with grow your awareness, not your thinking. Grow the moments you can get to hear, the moments you can connect with life, the moments you can remember to tell your dog you love your dog, but it's petting your dog. And then the love's coming through. So whatever we think the words do, are the words gloves that are really surrounding negative energy, or are the words really doubling the love we're trying to share? Most of our words are a waste of time. That doesn't mean you're going to give up words and not ever do negativity again. In fact, that's what humans do. Half of our week, or 2/3 or 80%, unfortunately, is going to be stress, fear, worrying, reacting, the same thought 50 times during the day. That's why the mindfulness, meditation, consciousness crowd, all the rest is so important for helping us pump the brakes. So here's the key request. My only bit of structure besides pen and paper is really nice. The record for getting answers, all languages, all dialects. I stay out of the questions and the answers. It's direct. The record is 9 hours of listening by an amazing Australian business person. 48 pages. I just checked in every 2 hours. But right now we're just talking like maybe seeing angels, getting a hug, something like that. But here's the Boy Scout, Girl Scout pledge, the very basic, the only thing I've got. It's just called setting your intent. Slap your hand on your heart, not required. Try to breathe through your mouth, not required. I had somebody take issue with that this summer. It was hilarious. But just allow, let go. We tend to tighten up when we're doing stuff. That's not the way to roll. Just whatever you have to do. First thing in the morning out of the bed. First thing out of a hot shower. In the hot shower after you've just finished singing your favorite song. Make your request. You're going to be the most open then. This is about openness. Here, that's the gateway to, if you want to call it a multidimensional thing, connecting to your angels, connecting to the universe. Love is the fabric of the universe. So here's the big request torpedo. Angels, hey, help me out of my head, into my heart, make this nice. Amen, rock and roll. Thank you, Om Sai Ram. If you've got something specific, toss it in there. You want to have the best cup of tea, ask angels. You want to find the tea shop, ask angels. You want to have a great run. You have to learn in your own way how to treat this in a sacred, special manner. That's about as lingo-y as I get, and I did it. So you have to own it. That's the best way to say it. You have to own your own energy. Most of us don't even know how we're spending our energy. It's like little ray guns and we're kids running around going, gotcha, 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 and we don't know. Half the time it's subconscious too. So give yourself a big break. The second way this goes down is we all have ego that's sitting there with a clipboard, judging everything. So let's say you suddenly realized how you've been spending your energy the last 10 years. Poor Cousin Fred, you've been wailing on Cousin Fred forever. The second thing ego is going to do is get a clipboard out and start judging everything and be like, wow, you really hurt Cousin Fred's feelings for the last decade. And you're going to feel worse about the whole thing. So try to let go of all the structure that goes with, oh my God, I never realized thinking was like kind of a waste of time. Just laugh, shake your head. That's why I love the Zen stories with that. Is that so? Your lotto ticket won. The numbers were accurate. You just won $1 billion. You say, is that so? And then you lost it all. The lawyer or the accountant ran off to Panama and took it all. And you say, is that so? Now, it took me decades to get my head around that concept. How could that possibly be that you would ever say, is that so, to something good or something bad? It's like non-duality. I couldn't understand the term. I wrote it down in a diary, get this, in 1992, 93. A little orange notebook I still have, and a bunch of other stuff that turned out to be pretty interesting. And then it wasn't until I moved to Austin, Texas. So this would have been around 2011 or so, 2010. Getting my car serviced at a Acura dealership, and a friend of mine's wife, who I've known all the way back to decades ago, had given me Thich Nhat Hanh's book. You can meet him. Pieces Every Step. And the only non-sentence in the whole book is not to. And I didn't have any professors in Buddhism, Robert Thurman, anybody I could pick up the phone and be like, hey, what's non-duality? So I'm reading this book, it's full sentence, full sentence, full sentence, and it goes blah, 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 non-duality, period. And the only incomplete sentence in the whole short little book, it's sitting up there on my shelf somewhere, is blah, 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 non-duality, period, not to. I waited 25 years to have the realization, sitting on a curb watching leaves swirl around while my car's getting serviced at an Acura dealership, of what non-duality is, not to. Meaning it's Pele, one with the soccer ball. It's you when you're singing, doing your artwork, and the painting only took half an hour instead of the usual hour. It's when you're driving on a highway and a mile goes by and you weren't there, you were there, you were enjoying the moment, no danger to anybody, and you're like, whoa, I was out of it in a way. There's a million moments of non-duality, which is why I keep highlighting the shower, brushing your teeth, petting your dog. All the moments that you're not thinking, judging, fearing, worrying, stress, the little dental floss of life connection that way. You're instead a ginormous fiber optic cable here. And I will mention as an aside that angels can help you out in a lot of ways. You could be a traditional healer of 40 to 50 years. You do your listening with your eyes shut. You can do it with your eyes open. You can see with your eyes open. A lot of people like to go like this, and they see with their eyes shut. You can see full on. So you can ask angels to actually bring you intuitive skills, like an arrow into your quiver, to expand how you roll if you're that technical about how you approach you as a healer, let's say. You could just ask to be a better listener. I used to be thinking that I couldn't feel with my hand, and now I can feel with my hand. That's a good example. So put your hand up to any of the photos, go back to the website, put your hand up to an angel photo. It doesn't matter that it's a computer screen. Feel the vibe, love, sparkle, something on your hand. If you need an exercise to let go, to clear the decks, to take your first baby step, make that request, sacred special request, clap your hands. Slap yourself on the back. Rub your hands in a circle. You haven't done that in 30 years. Do something to break your structure. Only you can own your own personal steps, and only you can create a million ways not to do this, to block, to judge, to react, to fear, to worry. So thinking's thinking. Love is love. If it's about details, words, you got to do this, you got to do that, odds are it's more just egoic thinking. And that's unfortunately 90% or more of kind of mankind's footprint. That's why ditch me, ditch the concept, laugh, let angels do their job. They're beyond thinking, they're beyond all the limits in life. Let's do this. So photographs. We know that a photograph cannot move. No way, Jose. Historical photographs, nah. But actually they can. So the Sai Baba photograph, the Audrey Hepburn photograph on my website are perfect for that. Give yourself a break, maybe do something else. Smell the sage first through 2 screens. I light sage, I blow it your way. There's tons of shows, tons of podcast hosts. You're watching them do it, you do it. And then go to the photograph. Lay your eyes on the photograph. Talk to Audrey. Be like, hey, make it nice. Talk to Sai Baba. Make it nice. You'll get a wink, a smile, eyebrow goes up, shoulder waggle, nose moves. Let them catch you off guard. Remember, it's like Missile Command, that 1970s game. You're trying to protect all your cities. You're trying to lock down. You're trying to be like a dog that doesn't want to go for a walk. You don't want to see anything. The brain, the ego wants to keep you safe and locked up tight. It's better you have all your problems. My problem is than to have a simple solution and take action and move on to the next thing. You'll just have another problem probably come up. But so it's practicing love. It's practicing openness. It's practicing allowing. I really like that word because it's safe. And then instead of like worrying about big picture, Christ consciousness, just call it all with a capital A. That nice big umbrella that's safe, no lingo. So you're allowing all in universal love, good feeling, sparkliness. You're opening openness. It's the Seth thing for the Seth crowd who talked about it's only going to be found one spot, through your heart, through the world you thought you knew, into a greater reality, greater dimensional reality. And that's so true. Angels reside in you and around you. That's a lot to take in. If it's easier for you to think of a big gaggle walking behind you all the time, like a lot of the old movies, Wings of Desire, whatever that was called, angel hand on your shoulder, you can feel Audrey's hand on your shoulder anytime you want, on your back. Just allow. Okay. One random thing, again, is walking with angels. You can do it and you can feel them walking with you, but you can do it and see them walking with you. And if you're that 1 out of 1,000,000 people or 1 out of 1,000 once a year, somebody can decide to walk with angels, see them, and have a two-way chat like you're getting to walk with Einstein. And I mean Einstein. Mother Teresa, Chogyam Trungpa, Jesus, and 5 angels. Archangel Michael, Raphael, pick somebody. Abe, the Abraham of old. And you're chatting in sort of a 5-way fashion. Why not? Now, that's going to take somebody who's really let go. Okay, so if you do see a smile in a photograph, it's a great chance for you to evaluate, experience, understand your own ego. It's there all the time. It's the little voice that goes, I did not just see that smile from Audrey Hepburn. And welcome to meeting your ego. So I do help people meet their ego. I rarely ever get to focus strictly on that. You get to meet it and tame it. Just the act of recognizing the difference between this up here and this down here. What are those really? Who knows? But more awareness, more love, more positivity, more openness, more abundance, more allowing, more gentleness, kindness, self-love. You got it. Up here, fear, worry, doubt, judging. As soon as you realize one doesn't feel so hot, waste of energy, and boy, do you get zinged. You can't sleep, you can't eat, you're not happy, you're distraught. And the other is exactly what I'm not doing in this speech, except that I am enthusiasm, and that is what's coming across. So feel the vibe. I'll stick my hand out while I talk a little bit more about this. As soon as you recognize, and I'm asking only that you feel my highest part of me, my compassion, my love, kindness. Feel what you can feel. Don't judge. Put your hand up, and then head off to the website and do angels and stuff like that. As soon as you figure out the difference between one flow up here, total waste of energy, it's like seaweed on the keel of your sailboat. There's drag. You're just not going fast. You're not having fun. You're side slipping more. As soon as you recognize the difference between here and here, you're off to the races. You have a unique life path you signed up for, and you can get more illumination on that from angels. They're here to help with your decision making. So it's really hard for us to all to fathom the concept that there's no limits on the level of detail. If you're asking about a neighbor's business, you're not supposed to ask about that. It's not your business. You have no ties to them. You get told to move on. I mean, there's no like fooling an angel or anything like that. You're asking for lotto numbers. I would say actually do it, because you might be the person that you're supposed to get the lotto numbers and you're supposed to win. So if you don't ask, you don't get. I still think the number one question is where to go on vacation. You're going to get the best advice. Maybe what to do on the vacation. For half of us, it's how do I pay for that vacation and the timing of it. But think of it this way. If you only asked one question for the rest of your day of angels, guides, chiefs, figures from India, fairies, a jinn who's East Asian mysticism, the number one question is, hey, what do I need to know right now? You may hear, just grab a cup of tea, put your feet up, and enjoy the day. You're not going to get bad advice. It's actually the act of letting go. It's going to feel like jumping out of an airplane or jumping off a cliff in one of those Instagram videos where they got the squirrel suit, flying squirrel thing, and they got parachutes later, but they have to go soaring at 160 miles an hour this way, and you're afraid they're going to hit trees. It's going to feel like the biggest deal to let go. But what are you letting go of? Anything that you think you know, that you're holding on to, my problem is, my troubles are this, I got this ache, I got that ache. It's all going to come back to you. Your thinking's not going to let that go, really. So I do have a little bit of advice on that front. Don't take it so seriously. Take a step to separate a little so you can breathe more. Angels have big wheelbarrows or shoulders. Put everything in just data dump. Give them your whole life story. Tell them why everything's horrible. Brown shoes, not blue shoes. This happened, that happened. This person did this to me. Give it all to them to carry. Keep it in eyesight. But practice the beginning of opening openness. Practice the beginning of cultivating your own compassionate, authentic self. I'm sure I'm borrowing from like Nova Scotia, Pema Chodron, the Tibetan Buddhist Zen lineage stuff. But cultivating your authentic presence. You already got an amazing self here. How often do you let it shine? How often do you appreciate your own happiness? How often do you go to the mirror? And I said this in another show lately, so let's not overdo it. But how often do you tell yourself you love yourself or you're amazing or just make yourself laugh for no reason at all? That's what this is about, is just living more, allowing more, thinking less. And let me peek at my last page here and see if there's anything else. So this is about your personal journey unfolding in the bigger picture. And you can get help from angels once you start to figure out, hey, there's something more going on than the way I think it's all constructed. You don't have to have the job loss, the health crisis, the divorce, the car rolling over, hit by lightning, 16 near-death experiences yesterday, and not taking away from any of those. It's the way life often works, is we're given just tremendous obstacles. And either Seneca or St. Augustine talked about this. It's the flavor that helps you build your foundations for when you start to pay attention and start to grow that love presence and start sharing with others and start doing what you were really meant to do. That without that, you wouldn't have had the foundation. I think up there is Silver Surfer somewhere over there. Bethany Hamilton. Beautiful, beautiful story. We think losing an arm to a shark obviously is a bad thing, but I mean, I don't want to say any more than that, but it sometimes catapults us into greater levels of love. Self-love first, appreciating life and how valuable every moment in life is. And back to the present moment. A smile's good. Look at something. I've got a dog knocked out, a Labradoodle on a bench over here that is the cutest thing in the world. Love rubbing her belly. That's good enough in most moments. Okay, so what baby step can you take? Go to the photos and just start asking for a hug. Feel some energy. Ask a question. Hey, what do I need to know in life right now? I think it's a good idea for me to mention the little Listening to Angels book. It's $4.99, less than a Starbucks cup of coffee for sure nowadays. And if anybody's wondering, I see, maybe $2, $3 from the purchase. I don't know. Maybe not that much. Who knows? It's a short book, 15-minute read, 20-minute read. It's got photos of angels in it. It's the best economical purchase versus just a straight-out purchase of a photo from my website. Angels wrote the whole thing. I'm seeing balls of light as I typed. What are those angels? I get asked all the time, well, how do you know this? How do you know that? How do you know when it's a good cup of coffee, good tea, good moment, good sunrise, good rainbow? Just know. How do you know that dog's fun, sparkly, you love that dog? How do you know? And then the big thing is, are we actually telling our dog and hanging out with our dog enough and rubbing their belly enough? Probably not. So the book is super short, super simple, a one-page forward, one-page introduction, 4 pages, how to listen to angels, a little bit of structure set up in terms of how to set up a legal pad or something, how to use the photos, 5 pages of troubleshooting for those hard days and you've forgotten everything you just learned. An appendix that rocks. It's the big picture. Why angels so much now? Archangel Michael jumps in there. There's the epilogue by an angel named Dale, who coached a famous gymnast who won a lot of gold. I love that epilogue. I'll leave it at that. There's some sample pages from the epilogue at the website, so check that out. Amazon.com/author/angels. That's my whole author page, and you'll see Listening to Angels. Blue cover, 2 balls of light. Click it. $4.99. And if you'd be so kind, I think I have 19 or 20 reviews, 1 ridiculous review that's bad, 1 star that's not even a review. That is addressed in my housekeeping on my webpage. And then beautiful reviews, lots of beautiful reviews. Essentially, you're kicking me out of the way for everything. So either you're allowing for this and owning your steps and you're having the interaction, or you're not. And you're okay if you're not. If you're resisting all this and taking shots at me, what can I say? I wish you well. But this is really what's incredible about this is what will you put into it? What will you allow for? Can you be like a Jedi out of Star Wars and just flow a little more? You don't have to lift the X-Wing out of the mud, but you can. First, you'd have to find an X-Wing. But it's about all the little sparkly moments in life. Love more, live more, laugh more. And back to what Dull Knife said. I'm looking at a photo of his on the wall right there. Life is a feast, partake. That doesn't sound too spiritual or anything. It does sound very positive. That's the gist of all this is... it's Plato's Cave, and you can meet Plato, and it took me 6 months way back a decade plus ago to allow for Plato to exist. And it makes sense the more you think about this. How do you like that? They're just here to help. Life doesn't necessarily end when you just wink out. But Plato's Cave, I like the jail cell. Forget the cave metaphor for a second. Let's do a jail cell. You're holding on to the bars of the window in the jail. You think you're locked up tight. You're not going anywhere. You're stuck. Pick any situation, career, relationships, you don't have a loved one, you lost your loved one, your car doesn't work, you don't have enough money, this, that. There's a million scenarios. Humans are so damn ingenious. You're looking out the window, everybody else has what you don't have, lack. There we go. We'll do Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks. You've never bothered to look behind you and see that the door's wide open. You can walk outside and join everybody anytime you want. You got no limits. So just allow, these are just, all this stuff is to tell you that it's not quite the way you think it is. If you're coming from I'm a stuck, this is the situation, woe is me, my problem is. There's a quicker way out. Eckhart Tolle really handles it well with the, hey, deal with it, ditch it, walk away. He's got very concrete steps. He's harsh about humanity, but when you think about it, think about how much we've been dumping on others in our personal lives, dumping on ourselves subconsciously, consciously all the time. Think about all the stuff that we know that categorizes everybody this way, that way. That sports team sucks, but my team's good. I suck, but the other person must be good, or the other way around. We love to limit. We deal and wheel and deal in limits all the time. Welcome to being human. So 7% less thinking each week is the maximum. Like losing thinking altogether, starting to like levitate instead of walking anywhere and you're 2 inches off the ground, enlightened. Nah, not in the cards. And the ones who are saying they're enlightened out there, just pump the brakes on that a little bit, and so on. Okay, so the real question is simply what will you allow for? There's a lot of people who have already tuned out right now, can't allow for the concept of angel photos, seeing angels. You can meet your past over relatives as well. Let angels do their jobs. Get out of your brain and be completely discombobulated. You get separated from your reality. I was watching Buddha at the gas pump. I'm going to get the names wrong, but like Rick Archer was talking with the guy Angelo from Simply Aware Awake. I forgot his podcast. They're both super fantastic folks, totally studied. One of them was, or both of them were in the transcendental meditation movement. Again, that's a little bit like some of the India stuff, and they have a very formulated way to approach all of this. But they had wonderful discussions about the act of awakening and opening up, and you do get separated from your reality. What's wonderful is angels know how to kind of help you with that better than anybody. It's not really a team of humans that can come in ever and help you land correctly, because you can react days later. After you've met angels, part of you is going to come in hard and say either that didn't happen or we need to be miserable all over again. Let's start anew. Let's find issue with this, find issue with that. Very few of us are thankful for the simple act of just appreciating the moment or being thankful. So you want to practice, be thankful for everything. Appreciate, allow. I'm skipping another A. Appreciating, allowing. There's even bigger words of gratitude that I'm trying to get to. All of this is the higher vibration end of the scale. And again, if anybody wants to see a video of a flyby, it was the angel Joy over my head. Check out the December 30th videos. Get started any way you feel like getting started. Just taking a walk. If you have to walk slower, if you have to touch a tree along the way, find a way to get out of your own way, to get out of what you know, you're thinking, to just breathe and feel like that Hawaiian vacation was here and now. You don't have to go to Hawaii to be able to let go for that big vacation. Okay, so this tiny little talk where I was going to get on and talk about first steps has turned into a big talk. Taping begins tomorrow for the Angels Positivity and Love podcast. That should be a lot of fun to watch. You'll be able to see some really fantastic folks in the wellness, holistic, spiritual business expert landscape, folks who are movers and shakers. You'll be able to hear about their world. You'll hear great insight and advice, maybe some exercises from them. They've already met angels with me. That's kind of the prerequisite for getting on the show. At the very least, you'll watch them smell some sage, but probably a lot more. It just depends on how the vibe's going. I'm going to try to make sure you get their info early so you can start kind of peeking around on the website. You can listen, dual task, but at some point go back and do the whole show staying focused and starting to implement some of the tips, bring in angels. If you have to close your eyes from time to time and feel it and see light on your eyelids. If you want to see a ball of light peripheral, or like the equivalent of confetti, but there's another word, glitter, like women's glitter, cosmetics, the Macy's counter, and a fan caught some of it. Ask for glitter, rainbow light, silver light, flexolite, gold dust from the ceiling. There are truly no limits, but you have to give yourself a break. There's no one way that's the proper way. Do learn how to request, hey angels, get me out of my head, into my heart, help me just have fun, be in the moment, get a great cup of tea, go for a great run, mow the lawn, and enjoy it. Amen, rock and roll, thank you. You got to own it your way and find a way to make these requests. They are heard. It makes a difference. You're learning how to cultivate a greater now, a greater sense of awareness, a greater sense of inner peace, a greater flow, greater harmony, one that not only you'll start feeling and amaze yourself with, but one that others who are around you, complete strangers, will pick up on as well. One day you'll be walking down a small town, a little village in Scotland, or your local town in Iowa or California, wherever, and a complete stranger will just say to you, I love your energy. Oh my God, your smile sizzles. They've even crossed the street to hold open the door for you to tell you, I just have to say you've made my day. You were smiling and I don't know what it was about and you didn't even know you were smiling. And they just say something sweet. So there's something bigger here that 1 + 1 = 111. Forget 11 even. No limits. That's the message of today's little broadcast, and fingers crossed that I recorded properly. Check out YouTube. Subscribe to YouTube, please. Just because this should be a very fun channel for you to check out in the future. Thank you again. Michael Andre Ford in San Antonio. Check out my website, www.michaelandreford.com. Like the car, like the champagne, like the archangel. michaelandreford.com. Everything's there. Photos of angels. And again, thank you very much. Have fun.